Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the podcast. Welcome to another podcast. I, again, am on my own, and it's because it's Thursday and I haven't managed to film anything yet. Sometimes it's nice just to sort of sit down on my own and just talk weddings, which is something I really, really, really love doing. I've got a couple of ideas for some fun podcasts to do on myself, by myself, but I'll talk more about them when we come to it. But anyway, roll the intro.
Hello and welcome to Confetti Conversations,
the podcast where me and my sister talk all things weddings, wedding planning and married life.
Okay, so it is now December. We're coming to the end of the year. I have put up my Christmas decorations today. I come to the realization that we are getting close to the end of the year. So 2025 is over, I guess, and 2026 is upon us. So I thought what I was going to do is, firstly, let's start with some 2026 trends to see what's coming next year. And then I was also going to have a little look at some of the 2025 trends to see how they panned out and how it worked when looking at weddings. But for starters, we're going to look at the trends for 2026. Now, obviously trends come and go. They're, things come for a season and then they go. And that is very much trends, isn't it? That's how trends work and that's what trends do. And I think with a wedding, obviously there's a certain amount of it that you want to keep on trend. You want it to be sort of the time, but also you want it to be so timeless. Like when you look back at your photos and you think that color scheme or the way that was, it wasn't just a trend for that year. It's a timeless way of doing things. And I think that is really important. So keep in mind when listening to 2026 trends, keep in mind how it works for you. So a trend shouldn't just be you copying something because you think it will work. If you like a trend, then you've got to really like it. It's got to really work for you. You can't just have a trend because it's a trend. In my opinion, I don't think I even looked at the trends when I got married in 2023, and I don't think I looked at a single trend in that time to see what was going on. A lot of the stuff I looked at was on TikTok, which again, you could call trends, but I think it was more like ideas and stuff like that. So yeah, take it with a pinch of salt, but it's interesting to see what the wedding industry is doing next year. So this is obviously from my faithful friend ChatGPT. So we're saying that bold colours take centre stage next year. Vibrant, expressive colour palettes are replacing neutral, heavy themes, expect rich jewel tones, citrus hues, and intentional colour blocking in decor, floral, stationery, and even dress codes. The 2026 colour of the year is Island Citrus, a fresh yellow-green blending lemon and lime energy with stylists encouraging its use across seasonal weddings. So I think bold colours have been a bit of a trend in 2025 as well. And I really love the bold colour thing. Personally, my wedding was very much muted tones, but I think the bold colours, like Hayley's wedding was much more the bold colours, and it was stunning and it really is beautiful. And I do think that is timeless. So I'm here for the bold colours and I love the bold colours. I also love the lemons. Like, yellow doesn't suit me because I have quite a yellow undertone to my skin. So yellow doesn't typically suit me, but I do really love the lemony, yellowy colouring that we're having at the minute. I think it's so, so beautiful and there's so much scope that you can do with it. Interested to see a more limey yellow colour, so something a little bit more vibrant. I'll be interested to see how that looks. Because I'm very much a fan of this very, very muted tone of yellow that's like very, very pale. So we'll see. I'm not sure about that one. But I do love yellow, so hopefully it'll be stunning. Next is texture, pattern, and layered visual styling. Textures are becoming a core design element. Velvet, satin, linen, bespoke fabrics, mixed metals, ceramics, and sculptured decor pieces create depth. Now, I really, sorry, I don't also know why I'm out of breath. I must be a little bit unwell, or I'm just talking really, really fast. I really think that mixed textures, mixed materials is key in any element of design, whether you're designing a house, a wedding, anything like that. In my personal opinion, I'm just looking around my lounge right now, and I have wood, I have ceramic, I have fabric, I have flowers, I have metals, like I have it all, because I think it creates a softness, and it makes things feel what would be the word? Elegant, I think. It can also make things look rustic, so just be warned about that. That pick wisely which textures you want. So if you're wanting, like for me, that rustic feel, metal, wood, linen, all that kind of stuff, that's very, very much rustic. Whereas you would want to go for more like ceramic, glass, satin if you wanted something a bit cleaner. So just think about what textures you're mixing to make these like mixed textured vibes. But yeah, I definitely would suggest. I think that's a really great trend, and I don't think it's a trend for now. I think it's just becoming more popular, I guess. Immersive and sensory driven spaces. Couples are crafting atmospheres with curated music, lighting, signature scents, bespoke menus, and environment driven decor rather than focusing solely on flowers. I kind of love that. I really love the idea of being in an immersive experience where you've got like sight, smell, taste, all that kind of thing, where you're within this really like almost like a hug of the wedding. Like I tried a little bit to have a wedding scent, but it just didn't really work for me. I didn't go hard enough in on it to make the whole room smell this way. So that's on me. That's something I should have really pushed for. But I like the idea of it feeling like a complete sensory moment where you're really enveloped in the wedding. And I think that would work really well for like your classic clean cut kind of wedding where, you know, everything is pared back slightly, but you have this real overarching feeling of like again with the mixed textures, everything, you want to touch it, you want to smell it, you want to be in it, you want to taste it. Like that's the sort of thing that would make a wedding feel really rich and really elegant, I think. Okay. Vintage and heritage influences. Nostalgic elements like antique decor, heirloom pieces, retro bakery style cakes, and nostalgic music themes are gaining traction. I love a bit of vintage, a bit of retro, a bit of rustic. That's very much my theme. That's very much my thing. And to know that it's sort of coming back around that way, because I think we've had quite a lot of clean girl era recently, and I am here for the clean girl. I'm not personally one of those clean girl kind of people. It doesn't suit me. It doesn't work for me. It's not my vibe, and it's not something that I can get across very well. It's just not who I am. I'm very much more of a rustic. Like my house is very rustic. My clothing is very rustic. Like everything about me is rustic. Whereas like I've got friends who are definitely that clean girl aesthetic, and it's beautiful. It's just not something that I can do. So I like the idea that we're leaning more into that sort of vintage rustic kind of era for 2026. Okay, fashion and personal expression. Multi-look and statement fashion. Brides and grooms are opting for multiple outfits during the day. Ceremony elegance followed by a bold after-party looks, jumpsuits or detachable gowns. Love it. Love, love, love it. I wanted a detachable skirt for my dress. I wanted there to be like a big train on my dress and then it to come off for the evening. I didn't want a veil, but I just couldn't find something that worked with my dress. I just couldn't make it work, basically. So I ended up just not bothering, and I didn't have anything in the end. And I think that would be one of my only regrets, is not sticking to my guns and having that, because I loved my dress as it was. It was just like an enhancement instead of having a veil. Although saying that, putting a veil in is one of the nicest feelings ever, and you really feel like a bride when you've got a veil in your hair. like 100%. But I love the second looks. I wouldn't have had a second look myself. I really wanted to wear my dress for the whole day, but maybe had it have been boiling hot, maybe I would have wanted to have a second look. I don't know. But yeah, I was really, yeah, I guess disappointed that I didn't push more for having this detachable skirt that would make it more like a daytime, nighttime kind of thing. But yeah, that's been a thing, but it is getting bigger now. Everybody changing, and I quite like the idea that grooms are changing as well now. Like, having that sort of daytime formal look, and then the evening sort of more party look. Bold shoes and individual styling. Bridal footwear is making statement waves from boots and bold designer heels to modern neutrals and high fashion it shoes. That doesn't really make sense to me, because that's basically saying that you're having like bold shoes, but you're also having neutral shoes. Don't get it. But I like the idea of a bold shoe. I like the idea of having like a blue shoe, or a shoe that matches your bridesmaids' dresses. Like, I do like the idea of having something a little bit more out there for your shoe, not just your classic white shoe, which is like what I had. Okay. Romantic and textured bridal trends. Bridal fashion leans into romantic textures, lace appliques, layered tulle, boho off-shoulder styles, and whimsical silhouettes with vintage vibes. I don't know that that's quite as true, because I thought that 2026 was more like the dropped waistband, the very sleek. So I don't know, maybe ChatGPT's having me on here. You can't always trust these like search engines, but I really thought that the vibe for 2026 was like the dropped waist satin dresses, but this is saying that it's more like romantic textures, things that are a little bit softened rather than that clean edge. I don't know. I'm not sure, but I'm confused by that one. Personalization and guest experience. Deep personalization at every touch point. Couples are customizing invite stationery, menus, guest experience, playlists, ceremony scripts, and favors to reflect their story. I think that is lovely. I think the whole point of a wedding is to marry the person you love and to have your friends and family in on that moment. So why not have everything super, super personal and make it a really, really personal moment? I just think yeah, that was my thing with the wedding, is I wanted everything to feel really, really personal. Okay, multi-day and immersive celebrations. Weddings are expanding into weekend long or multiple day celebrations with welcome dinners, brunches, and multiple gatherings. That's exactly what I did for my wedding, and I would urge anyone to do it. And I'm glad that it's now something that is becoming bigger. Like, yes, okay, it does mean that people are spending more money, but it is, in my opinion, so worth it. You have an entire weekend of celebrating, not just one day. So I would 100% recommend that everybody has like at least 2-day celebration, like a night before and then your actual day. But I really enjoyed having night before, actual day. Everyone came for breakfast at the hotel the next morning, and then some people went off and played golf, and then some of us were like in the spa. So yeah. Sustainability and conscious planning. Eco-forward choices become a baseline. Couples prioritise sustainability, local florals, reusable decor, plant-led menus, pre-loved elements, and waste reduction. I think we need to be doing that. I think the wedding industry can be so wasteful. I think it's a shame. It would be a shame to not be doing that. So I really think that prioritising sustainability during wedding planning is, well, second to none in my opinion. I think it needs to happen. So I'm really grateful that that is what's going on, that's something that we're doing. So yeah, really pleased about that. Technology and innovation. Integrating tech to enhance connection, AI assisted planning, drone videography, interactive AR VR/VR features, hybrid ceremonies, and social media friendly content creation are trending. I mean, of course, AI is going to be involved. I'm literally using AI right now. Of course, AI is going to be involved in wedding planning. But I was listening to The Unfiltered Bride, and Georgie and Beth were saying, I think they were talking also with somebody else, that AI is giving unrealistic expectations to brides and grooms. That you think that you see this beautiful thing and you'll take this picture to a venue and say, this is what I want. And they're like, that's thousands of pounds worth of flowers, or that, I think AI is great for ideas, but I think it can be a little bit too, what's the word? Ambitious, maybe. It's not for everybody, is what I'm trying to say. That's not what I mean. It's not for everybody. What I mean is that it could give you unrealistic expectations of what your money will buy you. Is what I'm saying. Content creators over traditional videographers. Many couples hire content creators for fast, candid social content alongside or instead of traditional wedding films. I love the content creator situation, I'm going to call it, that we're having at the minute. I think the content creators are so talented and so well. They have a place in the wedding industry, is what I'm trying to say. I think a content creator is fantastic, and I really think that if you can afford it and you want it, have it, because to have that content so quickly is incredible. But I do think that dependent on what the content creator can deliver for you, I think having a videographer to get a film done is better. Not better, that's not what I meant. Is equally as needed, I think, in my opinion. But obviously, to each their own. But I do think that content creators are bringing something really fun and really exciting into the mix. Okay, food, entertainment, and atmosphere. Dining as entertainment. Creative food stations, interactive culinary experiences, late night street food, and bespoke tasting menus replace standard 3-course dinners. Love it. Love, 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 love it. I think the traditional wedding breakfast is going. I don't think we are going to be having the traditional wedding breakfasts at weddings, really. I just think that there's so much more that caterers can do nowadays. Why are we still eating that? Why are we still having that when the options are so much bigger and we've got so much more that we can have? I just think that why not have something that's going to be amazing, but also a bit different. I just think it's a bit of fun, isn't it? It's a bit of fun just to have something a little bit different. Okay, enhanced guest engagement, unique entertainment options, e.g. live acts, immersive decor, games, ambient lounge zones, make weddings feel more comfortable and memorable. I don't know that comfortable is the word that I would want for my wedding. I think engaging and fun and having having games and immersive decor and things like that, Prosecco walls where people have got their hand outside and they're like giving you the Prosecco. Do you know what I mean? Like things like that. Yes, I'm here for it. I want that. But I don't think that comfortable is a word I would want my wedding to be described as. But maybe we all have different opinions on things like that. But that's just my personal opinion. Okay, documentary and emotional storytelling. Photography is shifting from posed portraits to candid narrative-driven photos and video storytelling. Multiple platform, short reels, instant content are prioritized. So basically what it's saying is that instead of having your typical couple photos where everything's really posed and all that kind of stuff, we're now moving into, which I think we have been for a while now, is into this really candid, because a lot of my photos, like, even though a couple of them are posed, majority of them are completely candid. And she would say to us, do this, but we would be, yes, we would do that, but also we'd be like laughing and joking because of the situation, because of what they're saying. So I do think candid photos are probably more necessary and more what we're looking for. I think most couples want candid, cute photos as opposed to like these super posed, stylized photos. So that's the rundown of the 2026 trends according to ChatGPT. I'm sure there's loads and loads of other ones, but I just thought that it's a good place to gather it all into one. But this is the sort of closing statement, if you like. Couples in 2026 are crafting highly personalised, immersive celebrations with bold style, textured decor, multi-day experiences, sustainability at the core, and technology enhancing emotional connections. which I think is just moving with the times. I think that's where we're at in a lot of things nowadays, is that kind of that element of it. So it makes sense that that's what we're doing and that that's where we're moving to, that technology and, AI, sustainability, all those things that we're trying really hard to create are at the forefront of our wedding planning. I think that's a really brilliant way of, what's the word? Moving forward in wedding planning. I think we always need to be moving forward, and I think that is a fantastic way of doing it. So how exciting. That's what our 2026 weddings could potentially be looking like. So let's have a little look at the trends that were in 2025 and whether we feel like they were achieved. ChatGPT is back again, and we're looking at what were the 2025 wedding trends. So floral wedding dresses, brides embraced floral inspired gowns, embroidered blooms, watercolour prints, and 3D flower details. I've seen quite a lot of that actually. I have seen quite a lot of the floral gowns. So I do think that, that has been something we've definitely had. Mini wedding dresses, short, fun bridal dresses become a standout trend, especially for receptions or city weddings. Again, I've seen that. I have seen that quite a lot in the past couple of years, but yeah, short wedding dresses are definitely becoming more prominent in the wedding industry. Okay, basque waist and vintage silhouettes. Vintage inspired shapes like basque waists and 90s, 80s throwback styles were in vogue. And maybe then I was thinking about, when I was talking about the drop waist, that maybe I was thinking about it was more 2025 than 2026. I must have looked at it. It was so yeah, that like 80s, 90s throwbacks is definitely something that was more prominent last year. Like that vintage style dress is what they were favouring last year, or this year, should I say. Tuxedos and non-traditional looks. Sleek tuxedos, jumpsuits, colourful suits, and gender-neutral outfits gained popularity. Can't say I massively saw much of that, but again, I guess I wasn't really looking for it. But I wouldn't know on that one. Okay, colours and aesthetics. Bold colour palettes. Couples moved away from pastels and neutrals, embracing vibrant and dramatic hues. Emeralds, sapphires, ruby reds, burnt oranges. 100% saw that. That was basically Hayley's wedding, was all of that. So for sure, that was definitely a big part of this year. Mocha mousse and brown tones. Pantone's mocha mousse and chocolate brown theme dominated decor, attire, and stationery. Yeah, I have seen a lot of browns and neutral tones. A lot of brown bridesmaids dresses, a lot of brown stationery. I do think brown has been very much like one of the colours of the year. So yeah, browns has definitely been in. Surreal and statement florals, creative floral designs, oversized arrangements, hanging features, surreal aesthetics, yeah, became focal visual elements. Again, I haven't seen a lot of that, but I haven't really been looking for it. I don't know that I've seen anybody with big, like, oversized bouquets or anything like that. So I'm not really sure. I don't really know on that one. Sustainability and personalisation. Eco-friendly weddings. Sustainability was a core value. Locally sourced flowers, digital invites, plantable favours, reusable decor. Definitely. That's for sure. We've seen that the whole way through the year, like this, especially this year. I've always had sustainability in the back of my mind, but I do think that sustainability as a whole in the wedding industry is becoming more and more popular. Personalised, non-traditional celebrations. Couples embrace meaningful touches, breaking tradition, e.g. unique first dances, bespoke rituals, non-traditional drinks menus. I do think we're getting away from a lot of the really traditional ways of doing weddings. I think people are definitely more open to putting their own stamp on it and not just following what other people have done because that's the tradition. I do think that has definitely happened this year. Photography and technology, documentary style videography, nostalgic film style footage, and real moment documentation were favoured over polished cinematic edits. Again, similar to like what's going to happen in 2026. That's for sure what we've seen. Everything is becoming a lot more documentary style, where like fly on the wall as opposed to directing and telling you what to do. wedding tech, tools and apps, photo sharing apps, wedding websites, and interactive digital features enhanced guest engagement. 100%. I think there has been a lot more wedding websites. I've seen a lot of QR codes for things, photo sharing, all sorts of different things has all been like a lot more digital and tech based than it has been previously. Okay, experience, guest and event trends. Micro and intimate weddings, smaller immersive celebrations continue to trend. Yeah, definitely. And a lot of people are doing that, like city, going to like London or a city and having like a registry office wedding and then going out for like a meal or something. That has been quite big, I think, this past year. Multi-day and experiential weddings, weekend-long events, destination celebrations, wellness-focused activities and immersive guest experience rose in popularity. Yeah, for sure. And I also think that wellness, that's really interesting because I have seen a lot of things where people have done like 5Ks the morning of the wedding or the day after the wedding, or gone, the day after the wedding, gone and done a big yoga retreat with like all their friends and family. Like that's really interesting, actually. I do think that wellness-focused side of it has become a lot bigger. We're not necessarily looking at these really boozy weddings as much anymore. There is a lot more of this, wellness focused weddings, which I think is amazing, really. Interactive and unique entertainment, live painters, aerial performers, creative food stations, and personalised entertainment were favoured. Yeah, I do think this, like live painters or getting something a bit unique, getting somebody unique to come and do something at your wedding is super popular now. Okay, design, details and decor, creative table and layout designs, non-traditional table setups, runway or curved layouts and bold decor become a design focus. Yeah, I have seen that, actually. I've seen a lot less people do your traditional top table and then round tables. Loads more people are favouring square tables, trestle tables, like that kind of making things a little bit unique, a U shape or a fork kind of shape table, like making things a bit more unique. That's what people have started doing really with their wedding tables. Statement cakes and desserts, heart shape or vintage cakes, dessert stations or unconventional flavours on trend. A lot I've seen this year, I've seen a lot of the classic heart-shaped ones that say like just married or Mr. and Mrs. or something like that. But I've also seen loads of like self-serve desserts. So like a massive sheet pan thing of tiramisu or a giant pavlova in the middle of a table, and everybody just goes along with a spoon and a bowl and just gets what they want, which I think is really cool. I mean, it wouldn't be for me. I'd find it too overwhelming and uncomfortable and be like, has everybody got enough food? Like, you'd have to know that you've definitely got enough for everybody, and there was somebody there monitoring it so that people weren't constantly going back up for more when other people hadn't even got there yet. But I do love the idea of it. I do think it's really cool and exciting and like a very different way of doing things. Okay, so this is your like the summary, if you like. In 2025, weddings were highly personalised, expressive and experiential. Bold colour palettes, especially chocolate browns and jewel tones, replaced pastels. Fashion embraced vintage silhouettes, basque waists, mini dresses, 90s/80s aesthetics, and non-traditional attire. Sustainability was a core value, and eco-friendly decor, digital tools, and purpose-driven planning. Multi-day, intimate celebrations and immersive guest experience define the year, while nostalgic design elements and artisanal touches made each wedding uniquely memorable. And yeah, I do think a lot of those trends have been really, really big this year, and they've all have their place. And we've seen some fantastic weddings this year. Like, it's been incredible and really different and really personalised. Like ChatGPT saying, is that they are really, really, weddings are becoming way more personalised and way more unique. And I think people aren't just following the trends anymore. People are taking the time to research and find what they really want and doing what they really want and making their wedding completely their own and completely personalised, which is really exciting. So yeah, 2026 is set to be a very exciting year in the wedding industry, and I can't wait to see what weddings we have coming our way and what beautiful things that we are going to be seeing. It's all very, very exciting. We love the wedding trends, and yeah, 2026 is not that long away. We've only got a couple more episodes now until we reach 2026. So we will do a wrap up of the whole year, how the year went, and what we've sort of learned from the year. And yeah, I don't know what else we're going to talk about in the rest of the year, but I'll find something interesting to talk about. But I thought before the year ends, we have to get in the 2026 trends so we know where we're going next year. So I think that's everything for today. I hope you don't mind me being on my own again. I hope you like the podcast. Please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, follow, give us a review, whatever it may be that you can do. Please do it, as it really does help us out, and we really appreciate everybody listening and everybody enjoying the podcast. So for now, I'm Phillipa. This was Confetti Conversations, and we'll see you next time. Bye.